Before we hop into the discussion, guys, we are almost at 9,700 subscribers. We blew past 9,600 to the point that I couldn't even shout it out at the beginning of one of my videos. We are getting so close to 10,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new, I'd really appreciate the subscribe. And just so everyone knows, whenever we hit 10,000, I'll stop doing those intros. I won't be doing them every 100 or whatever. Like, it'll probably only be for every 1,000. So, like, once we hit 10,900 something subscribers, I'll probably do an intro like, hey guys, we're almost to 11,000, something like that. Today's topic of discussion is something we've actually been talking about since around E3 week. We haven't done a video directly about this by itself. And it's that you can't really be a raider in Fallout 76. And this is something we've known since we learned that whenever you kill another player, you couldn't loot them. Like, for that simple fact alone, you could not actually be a raider in this game. But then we've also learned about all these different anti-griefing mechanics, and we learned about a new one in yesterday's video. And we're going to go over each and every one of the anti-griefing mechanics we know so far for Fallout 76, and there could potentially be even more. We literally just learned about a new one, that I talked about in yesterday's video, so there may be even more anti-griefing mechanics we don't know. And really, the reason why we are doing this video is because this is a narrative they've been pushing since we learned that there's PvP and you could kill each other. It's like, well, we want players to be the raiders. There's no NPCs in the game. We want the other players to be the NPCs, and we don't really have raiders in the game, but if a player wants to roleplay as a raider, thus you have raiders. This is a narrative they've been pushing this entire time, and that's why I'm doing this video, because you cannot be a raider in this game, 100%. So for starters, I'm role-playing as a raider. I want to kill another player. So if I'm coming up to a player and trying to kill them and they're not wanting to engage in PvP as well, my damage is reduced. So that's one thing right out the gate that is detrimental to me wanting to play as a raider. At this point, we still have no idea how much the damage is reduced. Of course, Todd Howard joked that it was comparable to like slapping somebody, so you're not doing, full damage. And it doesn't even matter how much it is reduced. The point is, if I'm trying to kill you and you're not trying to fight back, I'm not doing full damage. Secondly, if I kill you, if I murder you, as a raider would, I'm instantly punished, like right away. As soon as you murder somebody, you get wanted, you get a bounty on your head, you no longer can see other players on the map, they can still see you, you become like a big icon on the map, like a star or something like that. On top of all that, now that I am wanted and I have a bounty on me, of course every other player can see me, I can't see them. Once they do kill me and collect the bounty, however much it might be, we don't know exactly how much it's going to cost yet, that bounty comes directly out of my own bottle caps. So again, if I want to roleplay as a raider, the instant I kill another player, because that's what raiders do, they don't ask each other, hey, you want to have a friendly match of PvP? You want to have a good old time fighting, buddy? No. A raider kills you against your will. They murder you. The instant I do that to you, I'm automatically hit with like 3, 4, 5 layers of punishment. On top of all this, initially whenever you killed another player, you got absolutely nothing from them. You couldn't loot anything off of their body, which is very contradictory of what a raider is. It's literally in their name. They're to raid another player. You are a raider. You are going to kill them to get their supplies. What we learned in recent months that whenever you do kill another player, you are able to loot their junk inventory, and that's it. Which doesn't fall under the category of a raider. I'm going to kill you, especially when we're talking about a post-apocalyptic world where you're fighting for survival. Like, if I kill another person who has supplies like medicine, food, water, armor, weapons, I'm absolutely taking that stuff because it is a post-apocalyptic world and you need as much of that stuff as you can get. And don't get it wrong, I'm not saying I want that in the game. I don't want another player to be able to kill me and take everything that I have. Obviously, I don't want that. But what I'm pointing out is this is the exact opposite of what a raider would actually do. Onto some newer anti-griefing mechanics we learned about that can hurt you when you're trying to roleplay as a raider. For starters, P. Hines pointed out on Twitter that if somebody's shooting you, like trying to murder you, you're not firing back to make it an actual PvP situation. You can just fast travel away. You don't even have to run on foot and try to get away from this other player. Like if I'm coming up on a house to loot it and some guy shoots me from behind a tree in the back, I can just pull my map and instantly fast travel away, and they can't even have a chance to really even murder me. Now this kind of makes sense because they're firing at you, but they're not technically an enemy, I'd imagine, at that point, because you're not actually trying to fight them, like you're not firing back at them, so they're really not technically an enemy. Maybe this is why you can fast travel away, but the point is, if I'm trying to be a raider and trying to kill another player, they can be like, you know what, fast travel to Vault 76 and just get away from this. The next one is that once you have a bounty on your head, we don't know if it ever goes away until it's actually collected. P. Hines was talking about this on Twitter, and he said he's not sure if it ever goes away. Because somebody asked him, because on GTA Online, once you're wanted, you can just kind of hide out for a certain amount of time, and it'll eventually go away. You don't have to actually wait till somebody kills you. Now, this one's not 100% confirmed because P-Hines didn't definitively say that it follows you forever. He just thinks it doesn't ever go away. But if that is the case, this is yet another thing that hurts you when you're trying to roleplay as a raider, because once you kill another player, you're hit with however many punishments instantly, and on top of that, it'll follow you around forever until it's collected. Now, I'm not sure how relevant this next one is, but we learned about another one recently from P-Hines, of course, that if you cannot pay the bounty that's on your own head, like you don't have the caps to pay the full bounty, you get a debuff on your character to where you're doing less damage to players and enemies. So you do less damage in PvP and PvE. Again, I don't know how relevant this one is because, for starters, we have no idea how much a bounty actually costs, because a lot of people are excited, haha, you gotta pay a bounty out of your own caps, but it's like, a bounty could be 100 caps. Like, who doesn't have 100 caps on the character? It could also be very expensive. It could be 1,000 caps, 2,000, a couple thousand or something. We have no idea. So I don't know how relevant this one is. And for starters, I can't recall ever playing a Fallout game and not having caps on me, especially like 1,000 caps or something. Like, I almost always would have the caps to pay a bounty depending on how much it is. So I don't know how relevant this debuff would be. In my opinion, the cost of the bounty and this debuff will be the two deciding factors to whether or not people are killing each other all the time. Because let's say the bounty's high. Let's say the bounty's 5,000 caps. You gotta pay 5,000 caps if you kill another player. That's quite a bit. That's gonna be something that makes me not want to kill another player. Because if it's anything like the previous Fallout games, you don't earn caps that often. Like, you only get like 100, 200 caps or something from a quest. And when it comes to buying and selling in the game, like, you don't make it that much. You gotta do quite a bit of raiding to earn 5,000 caps. And when it comes to the debuff, it depends on how strong it is and how long it lasts, because we have no idea on either of those. We just know it lasts a certain amount of time and you do less damage. But if it's something like maybe 50% damage, like, that's going to be pretty annoying. And if it lasts like 30 actual minutes of game time or like an hour of game time, like, that'll be something that's like, I don't really want to kill another player, because then my game's going to be pretty difficult at that point. And that's all the major things that are against you being a raider in the game. One small one we can throw in at the end is you're able to block players in the lobby. Whenever you block another player, they cannot see you on the map. So, like, if for whatever reason the people in the lobby were to block you and you alone, you can no longer see them, which completely defeats the purpose of you trying to be a raider, because you have no idea where the players are. Again, it's not a big one, but if you're legitimately trying to roleplay as a raider, other players being able to block you completely neutralizes that experience trying to be a raider, because again, you won't know where they're at, and there's nothing else you can do to really ruin other people's role-playing experiences. Like, if I want to be a trader, you can't really prevent that other than just, I guess, not buying and selling stuff with me. But like, if I'm role-playing as a medic as well, like, you can't really stop that. If I'm a healer and a medic, there's really nothing you can do to stop that. If I'm role-playing as a mercenary, again, nothing you can yourself can do to stop that other than just not giving me caps to help you do stuff. The point of this video wasn't me complaining about all this stuff, because it doesn't even affect me in the slightest, because I have no interest in running around trying to kill other players. But the issue here is that they've been trying to tell us forever that you can, be a raider in this game. And as I just laid out in front of you, you absolutely cannot be a raider. And all the stuff we talked about in this video only further proves a point that I've talked about in 2 separate videos, where PvP is just entirely pointless and doesn't even matter, because they want that drama and that tension when you see another player, because that player might be a raider, but if they are a raider, then they get punished immensely for even attempting to kill you. And it also proves a point that we talked about also from pretty much the beginning of this game's announcement. It's that this should have always just been a co-op game and a shared world experience, like where you're just in a world, in a Fallout world with other players. And PvP should have always been something that you can just decide to do, and there's never the option to just kill other players. Like, you just have the ability to PvP for fun, and then just quest and explore together. And again, I'm not worried about this in the slightest. I'm not stressing over another player being able to kill me. I play plenty of multiplayer games, and I'm all about earning some free caps. And if you dislike PvP games and griefing and all that stuff, all this information will obviously make you happy. And there's really no right answer, because if you go too far one way and actually let them be raiders and kill you and there's no penalties at all and they can loot all your items, that's a big issue. But if you go too far the other way, then you have this video I'm making right here, where PvP and being a raider is entirely pointless. So with all of that out of the way, all I can really do is pass it down to the comment section, pass it down to you guys. Just let me know your thoughts below. What do you think about all these levels of anti-griefing mechanics? And as always, if you guys went on to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at TheDashingDavid, add my Discord, links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me a smile, give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like a child.